She wanted a one night out to find herself. I gave her a one-way ticket out of my life, with witnesses, legal papers, and a standing ovation. Here's how I turned her betrayal into the most satisfying revenge of my life. I never thought I'd be that guy, the one who gets blindsided by his wife, writing into Reddit like it's therapy. But here I am. And let me tell you, when your life starts to unravel, it doesn't happen with a bang. It's slow, quiet, like a leak under the floorboards until everything collapses. I'm 34. My wife is 32. We've been together since college. Married for 6 years. No kids, though that was starting to come up in conversation. I work as a mechanical engineer. She's in marketing for a mid-sized tech firm. We've always had what I thought was a healthy relationship. We argued like any couple, but nothing dramatic. We had traditions: Friday pizza nights, lazy Sunday brunch, camping trips in the fall. Inside jokes. Us, things. Then, somewhere around 8 months ago, something shifted. It wasn't dramatic. It was subtle. Like she started keeping her phone face down. Then came the new password I didn't know. Work stuff, she said. Okay, fine. She started working later, said her team was under pressure from corporate. I believed her. Hell, I even brought her dinner to the office one night and left it at reception because she was in a meeting. That's when the first little alarm bell rang. Reception told me no meeting was on the calendar for her. I brushed it off. She must have meant an informal one. I didn't want to be that husband. The jealous, paranoid type. But that night, she didn't eat the food I brought. Said she already grabbed something with her coworkers. I wanted to believe her. Then came the mood swings. One minute she was cold and dismissive. The next she was clingy and apologetic. Her temper was shorter. Conversations became arguments. And novel? Non-existent. She was too tired, too stressed, not in the mood lately. I tried being supportive. Flowers, helping more with chores, giving her space when she needed it. I even suggested we take a weekend trip to unwind. Her response? That's not going to fix anything. Stop trying to put a band-aid on everything. That stung. But nothing hurt more than what came next. One Wednesday night, she came home late. Said she'd had dinner with a client. She smelled like wine and perfume she doesn't usually wear. She went straight to the shower and barely said 2 words to me. I'm not proud of what I did next. But it's the moment everything changed. When she left her phone on the kitchen counter to take that shower, I opened it. She never changed her iPad password. And guess what syncs automatically with iMessage? I don't know what I expected to find. Maybe I was hoping to see proof that I was wrong, that she really was working or talking to a friend. Something innocent. But what I found were dozens of messages. With a guy named Nick in her contacts, though the messages made it clear that wasn't his real name. The texts weren't just flirty. They were graphic. Plans. Memories. Inside jokes that weren't ours. And then I saw it. This Friday, hotel's already booked. He'll be at that work dinner. Finally, just us. I stared at the screen, heart pounding, hands shaking. This wasn't a hunch anymore. It was a betrayal, plain as day. And she had scheduled it like a business meeting. Cold. Calculated. That's when something in me snapped, not emotionally, not violently, but decisively. She wanted control? Fine. She was about to find out what it looked like when a husband takes control back. You ever have a moment where time slows down, not in a movie cliché kind of way, but in that surreal, I'm not sure if I am awake way? That's what it felt like after reading those messages. My hands were trembling, my breath coming in short bursts, but I kept scrolling. I couldn't stop. There were photos. Nothing explicit, but enough. Her in outfits I'd never seen, mirror selfies in a hotel bathroom. Captions like, "Can't wait to get this off for you, face-blowing kiss." Voice notes of her giggling. A 10-second clip of her moaning his name. Not mine. I put her phone back exactly as I found it. She was still in the shower, humming. That stung the most. How easy it all seemed for her. How casual. Like she hadn't just set fire to everything we built. I walked outside and sat in the car. Stared at the steering wheel for a long time. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I called my younger brother, Sam. Now, Sam's not a therapist. He's a former Marine with a blunt edge and zero tolerance for bullsh*. I told him what I found. There was a pause. Then he just said, "You have proof?" "Yeah," I muttered. "Screenshots, synced texts, the works." "Then it's not your imagination. Don't confront her yet. You're too raw. You want her to confess, not deny." He was right. So, I waited. That Friday, the Friday they were supposed to meet up, I pretended everything was fine. Even kissed her goodbye on the cheek before she left for her work dinner. She wore a black dress I'd never seen before. Said she bought it with a bonus. I told her she looked beautiful. She smiled like everything was normal. When she left, I followed her. I felt like a lunatic. Sweaty palms, heart hammering in my chest, trailing my own wife like some PI. But the moment I saw her pull into that hotel parking lot, all doubts evaporated. She met him outside. Tall, smug-looking. He kissed her like he'd done it 100 times before. She didn't even look around. Just wrapped her arms around his neck and whispered something in his ear. I snapped photos. License plate. Hotel name. Timestamps. Then I left. That night, I didn't sleep. I just sat on the couch in the dark, phone buzzing with her messages hours later. Dinner ran long, babe. Heading home now. Love you. Love me? She walked through the door like nothing had happened. Said she was tired, kissed me on the forehead, and went straight to bed. I didn't say a word. The next morning, I made coffee. Sat at the kitchen table. She came down in her robe, yawning, acting like we were a couple again. I slid my phone across the table. Opened to the screenshots. Who is he? Her eyes locked on the screen. And for a moment, just a split second, I saw the mask slip. Then she said it. It's not what it looks like. Of all the things to say, she went with that. I laughed. Loud and bitter. You think I'm stupid? I followed you. I saw you. You looked pretty happy for someone betraying their husband. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She got angry. How dare you invade my privacy? That's when I knew the woman I married was long gone. And in her place was someone I didn't recognize anymore. Someone willing to lie to my face and then flip the blame when caught. I stood up, leaned over the table. You wanted control? You got it. But now, I'm taking my freedom. Then I walked out. Again. But this time, I wasn't running from her. I was walking toward the end with eyes wide open. They say betrayal hits you in waves, first the shock, then the anger, then the grief. That's a lie. For me, it all came at once. That morning, after I walked out of the house, I didn't drive anywhere in particular. I just sat in the car with the engine off, staring at the dashboard while the weight of everything pressed down on my chest. She wasn't sorry. That's what haunted me. She was angry that she got caught, not ashamed, not heartbroken, not devastated. Just angry that the illusion was shattered. She had become a stranger with my wife's face. I called in sick to work that Monday. I couldn't pretend. Couldn't sit in meetings talking about system efficiencies while my own life was in shambles. Instead, I stayed at a friend's guest house, Sam's place. He didn't ask questions. Just handed me a cold beer and said, "Let me know when you're ready." 2 days passed before I said a word about it. When I finally talked, it poured out of me like a confession. The texts, the photos, the confrontation. Her audacity. Her fury at being invaded. Sam listened without interrupting. When I was done, he looked at me and said something I'll never forget. She made a plan. You make one too. But yours will be smarter. And just like that, the fog lifted. No more walking around like a ghost. No more being the nice guy who gets steamrolled and gaslit. If she could lie that easily, if she could sneak off to hotels while I paid the mortgage and planned a family, then she could damn well feel the consequences of her actions. I called a divorce attorney the next morning. Not just any attorney. A shark. One recommended by a friend who'd gone through a nasty split and still smiled about how well she came out of it. We'll call her Amanda. Amanda didn't waste time. I gave her everything. The synced messages, the photos, the hotel timestamp, the witness, Sam, if needed, and proof of her lying during our confrontation. She raised an eyebrow, took notes, then said calmly, "Good. We can make a strong case for infidelity. Depending on your state's laws, this might work in your favor for property division. Do you want to go for the jugular?" Yes. God help me, I did. She'd taken my trust, my home, my peace of mind. I wanted something back. Amanda laid out a plan. We'd gather more evidence, wait for one more mistake from her, which wouldn't take long, and then serve her publicly. A dinner. A party. Some place where she felt confident. Untouchable. We'd cut her legs out from under her. Quietly. Legally. No screaming. No scenes. Just a well-placed scalpel to her carefully curated life. While the legal work began, I went back to the house. She was still there. Acting like we were in a cooling-off period. Like this was just some marital spat that time and wine could fix. She tried to talk. I didn't. She tried to seduce me. I walked away. She cried, fake, shallow tears, and I handed her a blanket for the couch. That night, she came into the room and whispered, "Can we at least talk? I miss us." I turned to her and said, "You miss the version of me who didn't know." She left without a word. Every day after that was like watching a dying star flicker out. Her charm didn't work anymore. Her games, her guilt trips, her fake apologies, they bounced right off. I wasn't cold. I was frozen. And she knew something was coming. She just didn't know what. The best revenge isn't loud. It's methodical, silent, surgical, and above all, it's undeniable. By the end of that second week, she knew something was up. The energy in the house had shifted. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't pleading. I was calm. Too calm. She'd ask me questions like, "Are you okay? Do you still love me?" And I'd just respond, "You should get some rest." I wasn't resting. I was planning. With Amanda's help, I picked the perfect moment. Her company's quarterly gala. Big crowd, open bar, high heels, and fragile egos. She'd be wearing her favorite dress. I'd be wearing closure. 3 days before the event, I told her I'd go with her. She looked stunned but relieved. "Maybe we can start fixing this," she said, smiling like we were in some Netflix romance. "Sure, sweetheart. We'll fix it." Meanwhile, Sam and I were syncing calendars, gathering the last bits of data. Hotel receipts, text exports, credit card transactions. Amanda was coordinating with the process server. It was all lined up like dominoes. And me? I rehearsed the scene in my head a dozen times. The night of the gala came fast. She looked radiant. Too radiant. Like someone who still believed she had options. Power. Control. As we pulled into the venue, she leaned over and whispered, "Let's enjoy tonight. No drama, okay?" I smiled. Absolutely. No drama. The event was held in one of those high-end glass towers downtown, complete with a string quartet and overpriced shrimp cocktails. I kept a drink in my hand, stayed near the edge of the room, watched her work the crowd. Laughing, flirting, living. Then, right on cue, he showed up. Nick. Real name, Andrew. Mid-40s, graying at the temples. Wore a smug expression like it was tailored with his suit. She saw him, and her whole face lit up. That smile? I hadn't seen it in months. Not for me, anyway. He leaned in close, whispering in her ear. She giggled, touched his arm. They thought I wasn't watching. But I was. A few minutes later, while she was deep in conversation with a colleague, the process server stepped into the room. He was dressed like any other guest, smart, forgettable, and invisible until he wasn't. He approached her with a champagne flute. "Excuse me, Mrs. Hayes?" "Yes. You've been served." And just like that, the room paused. Conversations halted. A slow ripple of curiosity moved through the air as people glanced over. She stared at the envelope in her hand like it was radioactive. Then she looked at me. Her eyes said it all. "You bastard." I sipped my drink. "Nick?" He slipped away like a roach when the lights come on. She stormed over, her heels clicking like gunshots on marble. "You're embarrassing me. In front of my colleagues. What the hell is wrong with you?" I kept my voice even low. "You embarrassed yourself the moment you started calling hotel rooms client dinners. This is just the invoice for that betrayal." She opened the envelope, skimmed the paperwork. Amanda had done her job beautifully. We'd included everything. Every date, every text, every receipt. Bulletproof. "This is, you're divorcing me?" I already did. "This is just the paperwork catching up." Her voice cracked. "We can fix this." "No. You broke it. I'm just putting it to rest." She tried crying, pleading, but the walls had closed in. Her friends were watching. Her coworkers too. The little whispers were already starting. I walked away before she could follow. Left her standing there, holding her consequences. Outside, the city was quiet. Sam was waiting in the car. "How'd it go?" She got the message. "Good." He paused, then said, "You're free now." I wasn't free yet, but I was close. There's something eerily quiet about the days after the storm. When the shouting stops, the doors slam shut, and the only thing left is the sound of your own footsteps as you walk away. She didn't come home after the gala. I half expected her to, half expected some grand performance, mascara streaked and sobbing, begging for one more chance, saying she was confused, that she'd made a mistake, that it didn't mean anything. But I think deep down, she knew the curtain had dropped. Instead, I got a flurry of texts over the next few days. "Can we please talk? It didn't happen the way you think. You blindsided me. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. Please, just meet me once." I didn't reply. Not to a single one. Amanda advised silence, and silence was louder than any reply I could have written. The legal machine was now in motion. Because of the evidence I'd gathered, Amanda filed for an expedited process and requested sole ownership of the house, citing infidelity and emotional distress. No kids, thank God. No alimony, because she earned more than I did, ironic, considering her affair buddy was also her professional leverage. Meanwhile, she lost control of the narrative. Word got around. You don't get publicly served in a room full of coworkers without sparking gossip. People talk. They dig. Screenshots float. Friends whisper. Soon enough, everyone at her company knew she was the wife who got served divorce papers for cheating with a guy in accounting. Her image, the one she built so carefully, successful, poised, respected, was cracking. One of her friends from work, Samantha, who I always liked, sent me a message. It was short. Just this. We always wondered how you put up with her. Now we know. You deserved better. She's not the woman we thought she was. Brutal. But it landed. Her affair partner? Nick, or Andrew, whatever name he used, ghosted her almost immediately after the gala. I guess it's easy to disappear when your idea of loyalty is hotel room happy hours. Word was, he requested a transfer to another branch a week later. Nothing official, of course. Just whispers. But knowing her, it was a nail in the coffin. 3 weeks after I served her, I came home to find her car gone from the driveway. She had moved out. Left her key on the kitchen counter. No note. Just silence. I walked through the house slowly. Every room felt wider. Lighter. Even the air didn't carry her scent anymore. It didn't feel like a loss. It felt like a release. And so I rebuilt. Not just the house. I rebuilt myself. The closet got cleaned out. Her vanity? Gone. Her wine glasses? Donated. The bedroom got new paint. My playlist didn't include the songs she liked anymore. I started going to the gym again. Reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in months, years, in some cases. Got back into photography, something I dropped when we got too busy. One day, I even sat at the old coffee shop where we used to go every Sunday and read a book. Not for work. Not for self-improvement. Just for the hell of it. And for the first time in a long, long while, I felt something strange. Peace. Of course, she tried one last time. A letter. Handwritten. Delivered through Amanda's office. I miss who we were. I miss you. I don't know why I did it, but I'd do anything to take it back. I didn't reply. I didn't burn it. I didn't cry. I just folded it back up and tossed it in a drawer I never opened. Because the truth is, I miss who I was too before I knew the taste of betrayal. But I also like the man I've become since. It's been 6 months now. 6 months since that night in the hotel ballroom where she clutched divorce papers with trembling hands, looking like a stranger in her own life. 6 months since I walked away without looking back. And in that time, I've learned something most people only figure out the hard way. Peace isn't free. It costs everything you thought was safe. It costs the version of your life you swore would last forever. It costs the comfort of routine, of shared toothbrush holders and worn-out traditions. But you know what else? It's worth it. I live alone now. And it's not sad, it's clean. Simple. Mine. The home feels like mine again. The silence doesn't echo anymore. It wraps around me like a soft blanket instead of a reminder of what's missing. The mornings are early. The coffee is strong. I read more. I laugh more, honest, unfiltered laughter that doesn't come with second-guessing or cold shoulders or fake apologies. And I think about her less than I thought I would. There are still moments, sure. I'll drive past a place we used to go, or see a woman with that same perfume, and for a split second, the memory flickers. But it fades. Like smoke. Because betrayal doesn't get to define me anymore. She chose lies. I chose the truth. She played games. I played the long move. And I won, not by hurting her, not by stooping to her level, but by walking away with my dignity, my name, and my peace intact. If you're a man reading this, and you're feeling that gnawing doubt, that tightness in your gut that something's wrong, don't ignore it. Don't let yourself be gaslit into thinking your gut is paranoia. Investigate. Quietly. Intelligently. Get your facts straight. Get your emotions under control. And when you move like a man who knows his worth. Revenge isn't always about screaming or slashing tires or blowing things up. Sometimes, it's about letting her ruin her own life while you rebuild yours in silence. Let her explain to everyone why her husband walked away calm, collected, and done. Let her answer the questions when people stop calling, when her fun dries up, and her freedom turns into isolation. Let her remember that moment in the gala, over and over, as the night she lost everything. As for me, I'm not bitter. I don't hate her. She made her choices, and I made mine. And now, I'm free. Not just from her, but from the version of me that tolerated half-truths and almost love. I won't go back to being that man again. I've got peace now. It came at a price, but I paid it, and I'd do it again.